Hey, welcome back to my studio. Are you ready for another fantastic painting? As always, it's good to see you again, and today I've got my canvas turned horizontal, and I've got a thin layer of titanium white painted over it already. And I use linseed oil to dilute that paint so it covers the canvas very easily, and it's very thin. It's very important that you keep a thin layer on the canvas. You don't want to cake it on right from the start, or else this alla prima technique, or painting directly, that's what we call it, isn't going to work as well. We're going to paint this all at once. That's what this technique is. And I've got all my favorite colors as usual. Today I've got cadmium yellow pale, cadmium scarlet, titanium white, ultramarine blue, alizarin crimson, and phthalo green. And the ultramarine is looking a little oily, isn't it? Yeah. If your paints get a little oily, you can just take a paper towel to the palette and wipe down any excess oil there is. You want to try to have a firm paint when you paint this way, but if you have a thin paint, sometimes it can work just as well. Ooh, I got a little bit of paint on my fingers already. Ooh, that ultramarine is getting all over the place. Yeah, that happens when you paint. It is inevitable. Hold on, let me see if I can find a cleaner piece. There, that's better. Gotta get my fingers all gussied up for the camera, you know. You don't want to get on camera with dirty fingers, unless you're a painter. That's the only rule of thumb for that, or the only exception for that rule. Okay, let's start off with, a 2-inch brush. And this 2-inch brush, it's important that you use natural hairs. I like to use natural hairs for my 2-inch brush. And this is just a common household brush that's made with natural hairs. The synthetic hairs don't work as well, nylon and polyester and all that business. You can use them, and you can probably do some good work with them, but I don't like them because they tend to leave streaks and they tend not to work as well. They tend to bunch up at the bristles and they're just not made all that great. But these are much better. They're a little more expensive, but they're worth the expense. And in the grand scheme of brushes, they're honestly not that expensive. So today we're going to paint something a little drearier, I think. Let's go ahead and, I'm going to pull out just a little bit of that alizarin crimson right there and a little bit of blue, ultramarine blue. Okay. Now, I want something that's got a lot of blue to it, but also more alizarin crimson to the ultramarine blue. And I think I've just about got something here that I think is going to work. So let's go ahead with our sky right now. And we're going to go right to the top of the page, or not the page, but the canvas. And we're going to make X strokes from the top of the canvas to about, down to the middle. So just like this, and see, that's pretty interesting. That's pretty interesting, but I think I want to get a little bit more blue in there. A little bit more blue. Sometimes you gotta test out the color that you made to see if it works right. And sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. There. That's about right. I'm gonna get a little bit more blue in there. I feel like I want more blue. I know I'm kind of making judgment calls on the fly here, but that's the way I do it sometimes. You don't have to tap the bristles when you're making skies like this. You can just run the brush through, making that sweeping sound. Okay? So you don't have to go nuts doing that. And you can just keep inserting this color here until you get just the right color that you want. I decided that I want to go a little bit more blue after all. Okay, but there is still a lot of alizarin crimson. So this is a very purple sky. And maybe down at the bottom I'm gonna, I don't know. Down at the bottom I'm gonna throw in something that's a little bit more ultramarine down there. There. Maybe I want something a little bit more ultramarine down here too. Yeah. Okay. And you just keep making those crisscross strokes. Just like that. Bring them down. Take that color that you have, the alizarin crimson. You can tap it a little bit if you want, but you don't have to. Most of the tapping is just for the foliage. Just FYI when you paint trees and stuff. Okay, let's go back up here. Let's go all the way down. Yeah, I know. I said we got kind of a dreary sky today, and this light violet, I think, is going to set the mood. Ooh. I'm going to get just a little bit more purple in there. Ooh. A little bit more ultramarine on that, yeah. Now, you want the sky to be very light regardless of which way you decide to go. do I want any clouds today? I don't know. I don't know. If there are going to be any clouds, they're going to be very muted. They're going to be very muted. Let's go ahead and clean this brush off, shall we? I think that sounds like a plan, because you don't want a dirty brush. Now, when I clean my brush off, I use odorless turpentine inside a 5-gallon bucket. I do not use pure gum turpentine. Pure gum turpentine is highly flammable, has a flash point about 95 degrees, whereas odorless turpentine has a slightly higher flash point, about 105. I prefer to use one that is much lighter at around 140 degrees Fahrenheit to about 200 plus. And I tap my brush on the sides here and give it a good wipe down to get all that excess off. Then I beat it off over here on the edge of the easel. And then I get out my paper towels and I give it like what I like to call the old wipe down. There you go. That way we've got all the excess paint, all the excess odorless paint thinner right off those bristles, and it's ready to paint again. Oh, those 2-inch brushes are a godsend, I'll tell you what. You go in with those, it is so much easier to paint because they cover so much area so fast. Look how fast we've gotten the sky already. Isn't that wonderful? Now I think for what I'm going to do next, I might insert some suggestions of clouds here, but I'm going to get out my fan brush here, and as you can see, it's very literally fan shaped. It's very good for using for trees and forming different kinds of evergreens and pine trees and stuff, and you can also use it for clouds. If you use the corner for clouds, it's very useful. Alright, so I'm going to just get a little bit of that purple color that I mixed up, and I'm going to really cake on the white here. Cake on the white, both sides. Get it like right on the edge of those bristles. Look how much paint is on those bristles. Oh, there's a lot of paint there. Okay, now we're going to go in here, and we're just going to, we're going to just suggest things. Now, we're not going to do a lot today with this. I know you think, ooh, we're going to be making all kinds of clouds. No. We're just going to go wherever we think there should be, a little bit more of something. And we're just going to kind of suggest it. We're not going to go out of our way to be making lots and lots of clouds today. Because most of these are going to be blended out, because this is a very hazy day, right? It's a very hazy day, and we don't want to annihilate that hazy feeling. And if you make a lot of clouds in the sky in a sort of a situation like this, and you're kind of going to ruin things. All right, that's probably about enough. Let's go ahead and clean this brush off. All right. I've got a grating at the bottom of my bucket. And this grating that I use is very useful because it helps beat all the paint off. I recommend using a metal grating because a metal grating is going to hold up better when using the odorless turpentine in the 5-gallon bucket. This 5-gallon bucket is made of industrial strength plastic that can handle harsh solvents like odorless turpentine. The thing about odorless turpentine is that it has a tendency to melt low-grade plastics. So if you use a low plastic grating in your bucket, it's probably going to melt. Or if you use a low grade plastic to hold the turpentine, it's probably going to melt. So obviously you want a good grade plastic 5-gallon bucket, industrial grade style, to be able to handle that odorless turpentine. Okay, so let's get out the 2-inch now, and let's kind of just swirl the edge, the bottom of those clouds around. We're not gonna do too much with them. Wherever you see a bottom like that, you just kind of gonna fluff it out here and there, swirl it around wherever it looks like there's a bottom, all that business. As you can see, we've already got a lot going on, so let me see it from this angle. Ooh, Sometimes the light is very shiny on my canvas, so it makes it a little difficult for me to see from some angles. The glare, you know? Yeah. Alright, so once you do that, you just go ahead and wave your brush across, because it doesn't matter if you kind of just very lightly destroy the stuff you've been doing, because, you know, like I say, this is supposed to be kind of a hazy day. This is not supposed to be like a real nice day type of thing. Did I get over here? Ooh, I forgot to fluff that one. Okay. See, that's what I'm talking about when I talk about the glare. Now, you may not notice this, but I'm painting on a canvas that I've already painted on before. And I'm doing that because I didn't like the painting that I painted on that canvas. And if you want to reuse a canvas, you can always do that. There's absolutely no law that says, oh, you can't repaint a canvas. No. You can always repaint a canvas. Well, until the paint gets a little too thick, then you might want to start a new one. After you've repainted it maybe like 4 or 5 times, you might want to consider getting a new canvas. Okay. Clear off that brush. Now let's give it the beat off. Good. And now let's give it the wipe down. Good stuff. Ooh. Yeah, we got a lot of odorless turpentine on that one. More than I think I really intended to get on that brush that time. Oh well. Sometimes you get a lot, sometimes you get a little. That's just the way of things. Okay. Now let's go ahead and begin with the large palette knife. And I'm going to get a lot of ultramarine blue on this one. I'm going to get some phthalo green, because we're going to be mixing up kind of a dark bluish green color for our shadow, because we're going to be painting some trees very shortly here. Alright? You want to get a little bit of alizarin crimson on that, because you want this to be a very dark color. Very dark color. Get even more, get just a little more of that ultramarine. Get a little bit more of that phthalo green. Ooh, phthalo green is very powerful. You see that I only have a little bit of it on there. It's because it's so powerful. Oof. Phthalo green is like a muscle man from a circus. You ever see those old-timey strongmen? Yeah. Coming in, throwing their kettlebells around, lifting their big weights, you know, lifting things up, putting them down, all that stuff. Yeah, that's what phthalo green is. Phthalo green is that big muscly bully. Okay, I think that's about good. We don't need to keep mixing, you know, ad nauseum there. Let's go ahead and get our 2-inch brush now. And let's run it through the paint. There you go. Ooh. Go ahead, tap it in those bristles there. Get it all evenly distributed. Now the reason we're doing this is because we want this to be a thin layer. When we do our highlight, we want it to be a little thicker, so we'll run it through the paint even more then. But right here, we're just going to tap it. Tap, 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 tap. Perfect. Alright, now, here's where we're going to go. We're going to find a place where we think it looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and, ooh, yeah. I'm going to just pick some spots where I think there should be a little bit more foliage. And you know, you can turn the brush any which way while you're painting like this. You know, you notice how when you turn it, it really suggests the formation of trees. Look at that. Isn't that interesting? Yeah, that is fascinating to behold. Alright. You want to be sure that the bristles bend up like that, because when the bristles bend up, that's when you know you've created something special. It's important that you watch those bristles bend like that. And we're going to bring the bristles right about over this way, I think. Right about over here. I want this to be covered up right about this far. Okay? If I want, I can go get some more paint over here from my palette and tap that in. Now these are going to be pretty light darks. Now they're going to be dark, so they're going to be, you're going to see them, but they're not going to be, you know, the end all be all of darks. We're going to save those for a little later in the painting, because we want those kind of darks in the foreground. The middle ground here is kind of, ooh, kind of big pile of whatever, if you know what I mean. Yeah, kind of a big pile of whatever, because we got all kinds of stuff going on elsewhere. We don't want to draw a lot of attention to it. And let me put my palette down, because, you know, my arm's getting tired. Actually, let me hold on to it while I clean off the brush here. You notice me clean off the brush a lot. It's because it's good to have my brushes clean. So I never have to think about it when I want a clean brush, because I've already cleaned it off. There. That's good. Scrape it on the edge. Give it a beat off. Alright. Get the old wipe down. Come on. There's my paper towels. Okay. Look at that. So easy. Alright. Now we want to get a green color, right? So let's get out our... Let's go ahead and clean off this knife. We'll just scrape the other color on there. Let me hold on to my palette so I don't lose control of it there. We'll come back to that color later, I think. Let me put my palette down now, give my arm a little bit of rest, because, you know, sometimes you just need a break. And that's what happens when you get to be part of the painters union. You got those union-oriented breaks and stuff. Gives you a lot of leeway when you're painting. That way, nobody can tell you nothing, because you're entitled to that break every time you want to paint. The best part of it is, it can never be taken away. It's always yours. Okay, it's fun. Now, I got a lot of paint on my palette knife here. Yeah, sometimes it really gets in there. Sometimes it gets in there, but that's okay. That's okay. Just get it off of there the best you can. And you know, if a little bit stays on there, then a little bit stays on there, but try your best. Okay. Ooh, lots of paint on that. Yeah, lots of paint on that. All right. So we're going to get kind of a middle green color. We're going to take... Ooh, I got a hair on my paint. That happens a lot when you got long hair. That paint just kind of gets everywhere. Okay. Oh boy. Yep. Get a little bit of that green color. Well, a lot of that green color, actually. Let's not kid ourselves. This is a lot of yellow. Okay, and then we're going to take a little bit of blue. A little bit of blue. And we might get a little bit of alizarin crimson in this, just to temper the color a little bit. We can take some of that dark color that we mixed up and, you know, kind of get it in there. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. We'll get some of that again. Some of that again. There. That'll really darken it down, right? Yeah. That's cool. We'll just take some more of that. I know, we're getting all kinds of it today. Well, like I say, this is going to be a background green. This isn't going to be like the end-all be-all of greens. This is just a muted green that we need for the background here. How's that looking? Ooh, that's looking pretty nice. That is looking nice. I think I want some blue in this. Yeah, I got some blue in there. Yeah, we get some blue in there. I think we'll be in a pretty good place. We'll be in Party City, right? Throw down, get our hats on, blow the kazoos, bust out the champagne. Be in a pretty good place there. And how's that look now? Ooh, I like that. I like that. I like that, but I want a little bit more blue to it. I know. We can just get a little bit of alizarin, not alizarin, but the phthalo green too. Okay, that'll help it out a little bit and get some more of that blue in there. There. Maybe get a little bit of the alizarin. There. Sometimes you gotta mix and match colors. There. I know I'm dulling it down a lot, but I want to be pretty dull. There. How's that? Ooh, that's getting better. Getting better. Okay. Alright, that's about good for right now. Let's go ahead and get into our color now. Let's go ahead and get a 1-inch brush. This is going to be our foliage brush here. And you want to run the brush through there. Really run it through. Because you want that thick paint on there. Yeah. Yeah. And look how much paint I've got on those bristles right there. The brush is actually bending. I've got so much paint on it. I didn't tap it. I pull it through. Pull. There. Alright, now same deal here. We want to start at the top. And then, you want to try to maintain your darks. Don't go too crazy. Maintain your darks and just paint where you think. And twist the brush around. Don't twist it while you're painting, but while in between strokes, twist it around so you can form different formations like that. And just let those things happen. Let them happen. Again, remember, this is a dark background here. We don't need a lot of stuff happening. There. That's already enough. That's already enough. In fact, I can go down here. And maybe if I want, ooh, there. Perfect. Now, let's see. There. Let those bristles bend. And now we're going to get a brighter green on here. So let's get out that palette knife again. I'm not going to rinse off my brush right now, but I am going to get more of that yellow. Okay, and I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to add a little bit more phthalo green to that. And we're really going to shove it in a different direction. Okay? But we're also going to keep some of those colors on there that we've been using. And we're going to get a little bit of the alizarin on there to tame the color. Alright? And then we need some yellow. Because we got to push it toward the yellow side of things. Now, when you want to check how your color's doing, because this is a really opaque color, don't have to worry about using white or anything. Just check it against what you've already done. And that's going in the right direction, then that's the right direction for you. We can even take a little bit of the white if we want. Add that to it. And that'll really lighten up the value. There's a couple different ways you can lighten up value like that. You can use a little bit of white, brighten up its day. Or you can just use a little bit of this liquid sunshine here. That liquid sunshine yellow. Because it makes everything look so sunny. It's hard for colors not to smile when they're around Cad Yellow. Such a friendly guy. Gets along with everybody. He's always got a nice thing to say about you. And no one's got a bad thing to say about him. These are all good friends, these colors. They've been hanging out for years. Check how that's doing. Ooh, that is perfect, I think. We don't have to hardly do anything else. Except get out. Well, this 1-inch brush is a little dirty, so let's get out our other one. Okay? And let's get out our other one. And then pull through the paint. Pull through the paint. And again, I'm just pulling. I'm not tapping. If you tap, it's going to thin out the paint on the bristles, which is great if you just want a layer of thin paint on there. But if you want something a bit more thick, then you got to pull it. Just like that. Yeah, that's perfect. Okay, look at that. Lots of paint on the bristles again. Good, good. So now we're going to go ahead and, well, obviously this is a little brighter than the other one. A little bit. Tell you what I'll do. I'll get a little bit more yellow in there. Oh, that's better. Oh, that's better. Yeah. Now you don't want to go too crazy here, but you can go. You can get into it. Like maybe you want some stuff down here. There. And you can go up here and there. That's cool. That's cool. Okay, maintain those colors that you already have laid in. In fact, I can go up here. Boom. 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 That's better. That's better. All right, let's clean off our brushes now. I'm going to clean off this one first because it's in my hand. A lot of paint on these bristles today. Man, oh man. Beat down. beat it off rather. And wipe it down. There. If you get some excess thinner, just go ahead and wipe that on the paper towel too. There. Now let's do this brush. Clean both the 1-inch brushes off. Let's give this the wipe down after we've beaten it off. Perfect. Perfect. Okay, that brush is ready for action. And now we've got a dirty palette knife here, so let's just wipe that right off. We probably could have gotten some of that on the palette, but you know what? You know what? Sometimes you just gotta let it go. Sometimes you just gotta let it go. I like to save my paint a lot of the time, but sometimes you just can't save it. Here, let me set my palette down for right now so I can clean this off right. If you need to set your palette down, go ahead. There's no law saying you can't do it. You can do whatever you want when you're painting. It's the beauty of it. You go in an art shop, and what you realize, or may not realize when you go in there, is that there's no rules. There's no one there who's going to tell you what you have to do. There's probably going to be people who want to try, but yeah, you don't listen to them. You do your own thing. If you're going to art school, you might want to listen to a few things because you're paying for the education, but you know, if you're just doing it to do it, what do they know, right? Making sure that I've got all the color that I can get off of there. Yeah. Sometimes this palette knife gets messy. God, it gets messy. I'm just still trying to clean all this off, and look at that. Isn't that wild? Yeah, it sure is. God, things are crazy. Yeah, that's good enough. That's good enough. Okay, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to get out my liner brush. And what we're going to do now is we're going to give this little area here a little bit of friendship because he's looking kind of lonely. Well, he's got his friend in the background, but, you know, they're having a little spiff right now, or a little tiff, rather. So they don't want to talk to each other anymore. I'll tell you what, I'm going to go into the Alizarin Crimson, get some of this violet color. And I've dipped my liner brush into the odorless thinner to get this real watery, you know? Okay? And I want like a lot of alizarin crimson in there, and I mean a lot of it. But I still want this to be pretty violet. Okay? And this is getting pretty good. This is getting pretty good. Let's just go in here and we'll give it a few accents because I think that'll make things more interesting. We'll give that there. Then we'll just go over right there. And maybe go a few different places just to make it look like we've got some interesting stuff going on. Like maybe all this foliage here is hanging off a few vines and plants nearby. I don't know. Wherever. Doesn't matter. Right there. Go ahead and put it wherever you want. Just showing you how you can do things. Remember that when I tell you how to do all this stuff, this isn't how you have to do it. This is just how you can do it. You don't have to listen to a word I say. You might be watching this right now thinking, what does he know? Because you've already said about the professors and everything, what do they know? And sometimes you're right, but sometimes I think, helps to get a little bit of advice here and there. If you make a mistake, just roll with it. Yeah, stuff like that. I didn't necessarily mean to do that, but it doesn't matter. Just go with it. There. And we'll go over here. I don't know. Stuff over there too. Maybe you want to bring this over here and, twist that all around. Maybe we'll just throw a couple up here or something. Yeah, like that. And, yeah, that's probably pretty good. Alright, so what I can do now is go back into my alizarin crimson and mix up more of that. but I'm going to shift the mix way toward alizarin crimson, way toward alizarin crimson. I'm going to get a little bit of white too, because I want this to be noticeable, this color. Ooh, ooh, look at that ruby red color. That is the beauty of alizarin crimson. So flexible. You would be shocked how much stuff alizarin crimson can do. You would be shocked. I don't want it to get too bright, so as soon as you got a color that looks like a middle tone like that, go ahead and just go in and, you know, highlight some stuff like this. Yeah, it doesn't have to be like all over, just be intermittent like that. Maybe over here too. Yeah, got some of that, got some of that. Yeah, that's good, that's good. And maybe we'll go over here too. What the heck? Yep, there it is. Perfect. Yeah, that's about enough of that. Let's go ahead and clean up the brush, the liner brush. And gotta be gentle with this brush because it's so little. You can do wonderful things, but man, can't take much abuse. You can't even hear me beating it off right there. Not even a little bit. No, sir. Can you hear that? The wipe down? Maybe a little bit. There it is. Yeah. Yeah, you can barely hear it. That's great. I love it. Okay, let's get out our big palette knife now, because I wanna do something wild. Do something wild and nutty. Tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get some of that phthalo green. Some of that phthalo green right there. And I'm gonna just kind of mix it up right here. Get a little bit of white. Actually, a lot of white. And look how lively that color is. Ooh, ooh, ooh. That looks cool, doesn't it? Yeah, that looks cool. Well, now let's go ahead and get some of this color that we were mixing up with the alizarin crimson. And get that in there, because we got to get ourselves a little bit of a interesting color going. Okay. We got to get a gray in this. And if we get a little bit of the green in there, we'll be pretty well off. Here's what I'm going to do. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to shift it towards yellow to get that color like just like this. Yeah, yeah. And I think I've just about got that color right there. Yeah, that's looking good. Ooh, that's looking good. That's looking good indeed. Okay. I want that kind of minty green color. Alright. And I'm going to cut across, get a big roll right on there. And now we're going to kind of just pick out where we want this to be. Now I'm going to decide that I want this door to be like right about here. We're kind of just going to make out a line where we want this to be, because we're going to be painting a house, like a lighthouse kind of deal. All right, it's going to go down to right about there. All right, and we're going to keep drawing like this. We're going to keep drawing. We're going to keep painting all these little things like this. Okay, because maybe we got something up here that we need to draw. Maybe we've got something down here. Yeah. If you make a mistake, just go ahead and wipe it out with a brush. Helps to draw these things before you actually get into it and you know, start working and stuff. Okay. Like maybe I just want to go ahead and throw that down right now. And that's a shadow color that we're throwing down right there. So you don't have to worry too much about that. You got a straight line going down there. A straight line is what we need. And now, since you've already painted the bend, or say the top of the lighthouse by scratching out the paint in the canvas, we can go right here to where the steep of the roof is, and we can kind of just go all the way down right there. And we'll go, say, all the way down this way. Okay? All the way down that way. Good. And we'll keep just inserting that color. Now the real hard part is when we introduce, you know, the highlights and stuff. The highlights and stuff is when highlights is when we're gonna have to hunker down and start painting a little smarter. But right here, when we're just blocking in shapes, it's all good. You don't have to worry too much about that. It's all good, guys. You got this. Okay. And when I say you got this, I mean I got this, because I'm just as nervous as you are right now. Wondering to myself, oh boy, is this gonna work? I don't know. I don't know, Soul Keeper. Yep. Whenever you doubt yourself, just be sure you tell yourself that you can do it. I know that sounds like the silliest thing. Giving yourself that little bit of reinforcement really helps, though. Because sometimes you get down on yourself and you think to yourself, what am I doing? I don't have what it takes to do this. Well, don't tell that to yourself. Because if you lie to yourself just a little bit so you can do this much, then you can do the whole thing maybe. And then maybe you can do a little more. Then maybe you figure something out when you're trying stuff. Reminds me of one of my math teachers in school who used to tell us, you know, if you don't know how to do it, just pretend like you know how you do it. Because then when you pretend how you do it, when you pretend you know how to do it, then sometimes you try stuff, and sometimes it works. That guy is a real bootstraps kind of fellow, you know. But in some aspects of life, it works better than others. In some, it does. Okay, so we've got all this painted out, right? Yeah, we've got all that painted out. Okay. So for the rest of this, I think it would be better to get all the paint off of this palette knife. Okay. And then take out the paper towels, of course, and wipe this off. Get it as clean as you can. And that's about as clean as it's going to get, which isn't very clean at all. Well, I'm going to have to take a look at that palette knife later. So you got the smaller palette knife now. The smaller palette knife. Because hopefully you have a smaller palette knife. If you don't, just use the little edge of the palette knife you do have. Because your palette knife has a couple different edges, right? It's got this big one right here, and then it's got this little one over here. Most palette knives have a shape like that. I bet not all of them do, but a lot of them do. Okay, so let's go ahead and just, I know what we can do. We can just add a little bit of white to that and really brighten things up. And maybe in the process we'll shift things toward the yellow green a little bit. Because, you know, maybe we want that look to it. Who knows? Who knows? There. I'm going to add a little bit more white to that. I don't want to overmix it, though. Of all my sins, overmixing has got to be the biggest one. There. That's a pretty good looking highlight there. Okay, we can run with this. Don't want it to get too white, though. Just blend it enough. There, blend it enough. Good stuff. There it goes. Before I do that, though, let's go ahead and clean off a little bit of something on the palette right there, because I don't want to get, you know, paint all over my fingers if I don't have to. Sometimes, you know, when you're mixing paint and stuff, there's only so much real estate on your palette, so you have to be a little bit judicious about where you paint and what you paint and all that. So if you can clear off a little bit of area for your fingers so you don't get paint in your hands, that's going to be great. There you go. Well, I still got paint on my fingers anyway. Probably got more paint on my fingers than I would have if I hadn't done anything. Okay. Now let's go over here. Cut off a little roll of paint from that mint green you mixed up. And then let's go all the way, say, to, you know, this little thing right here. Let's go ahead and decide if this is light enough. Is that light enough? Oh, I don't know if that is, so let's go ahead and make it lighter. Sometimes you gotta get a little crazy. Okay. How's that look? Maybe a little bit more. You know, maybe we should just go into the paint over here, this white paint, take a little bit of, this, and then go over here and add that, instead of trying to add it to the other pile. You know what I mean? There. That's probably more than enough. Yeah, that's going to work. That's going to work just fine. So let's cut some paint off of that. And we'll go through this again. There. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're kind of just going to create these, this is a lighthouse, right? But it's also got this wooden look to it, even though it's, here by the water and all that. Alright. Fun fact, this scene is from the water. Alright, so we go ahead and we're just going to go through and add all these boards and stuff to it. Now right about here is going to be a door. Okay, but we're not going to let that distract us from our goal here. We're just going to keep painting all these boards so that we have that wooden look to it, right? That's right, we're going to keep doing it. We will not be deterred. I gotta say, this is looking pretty decent so far. I'm liking the way that looks. We'll say that this is like an old lighthouse, and it's been through the ringer. It's seen a lot of years of guiding people on the water, on these Great Lakes and everything. Boats traveling to and fro. Maybe they're coming from wherever, who knows. Maybe there's a guy coming across from the Upper Peninsula. Maybe there's a guy coming from Canada. Who knows? Who knows? There. Okay. Let's go all the way down. All the way down. There. And when you do it, just let it graze the canvas. You don't have to. Here I'm lightly touching. Lightly touching. There. That's good. That's good. Yeah. Now, let's cut across again. And we're going to go across the top of this steep. There. Yeah. Right there. We'll do a little bit of something. Over here, we'll do a little bit of something too. Here, let me turn my knife so that the painting doesn't get draped in shadow. Sometimes it's unavoidable, but I try to avoid it as much as possible. There. Now we'll come in from the sides, I think. Here, let's do this. Like that. And like that. There. And then, since we got all the boards going across all like this, here's what we're going to do. We're going to cut, say, right about here. Okay. If it's not exact, it's alright. Don't let it bother you too much. Okay. And I'll go in here, get a little bit of that color. Alright. And cover that up. And then I can, is there anything else I can get up here? I can get a little bit of maybe this spot up here. Come on, come on, come on. There. decide the shape of that lighthouse, just like that. There. That's a nice looking one. Whew. Whew. Okay, let's go ahead and clean off the knife now, because we need to do a little bit more work here. Oh, lighthouses are never easy, my friends. Lighthouses are very difficult to paint. But, you know, there's a certain way that you can do things to make it a little easier. A little bit easier. Okay, let's go ahead and mix up a little bit of a darker green from some of the colors that we got. Like maybe we got some phthalo green right there. And maybe we've got a little bit of the green that we had mixed up. Right? Right. And this will get us, well, if we mix it with alizarin crimson and phthalo green, then add some ultramarine, we can get ourselves a pretty dark green. We don't want to get too much of the cadmium yellow there because it's going to shift the whole color. But here, we can see that dark green already forming. And what do we want? What do we want? We want kind of that, ooh, that bluish and phthalo green kind of color. Kind of like a deep teal or something like that. Something with a lot of, you know, the blue to it. There. Alright. So mix that up. And then we're going to cut across again. And where are we going to go? Where are we going to go? Ooh. Ooh. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe we'll draw some things like right there. Yeah. There. And we'll cut across like, I don't know, right here. Okay. So go ahead. Lay that down. Let's lay this down. And then we'll lay some of that down. There. Cool. Ooh, I don't know. That's looking a little askew, isn't it? Yeah, it is. I'll tell you what. If that happens, well, what I can do is I can do is if that happens, I can go over here, cut it down right there, cut it down right here, and cut across there. There. And if some stuff there happens, then that can be fixed a little bit. Alright. Now we can go right about here, right about there. Right about there. Sometimes I have a hard time seeing from an angle like this, so I get tripped up too. There. Tell you what, let's take some of that color, mix some white into it so we can see what color it looks like. There. Here, let's mix a little bit more into that. Get a little bit more of that grayish color going. Cool. Yeah, it looks about as dark as any of the other colors. There, that's a lot better actually. I like that a lot better. Especially when I'm doing little stuff like this. Little stuff like this here. Oh, that looks so much better. There. There, that's better. Here, let's have some of that right there. Some right here. There. I'll take a little bit more there. Maybe tap it right into this edge right here where there's going to be kind of a loop-de-loo going around. Oops, I didn't mean to get the highlight there. Here, let's there. We're going to make ourselves another window. It's going to be about right there. There. Okay. Now we can take some of the color that we mixed up. We'll slap it right here. There. And we're going to go around the edge because we got to create that light. We got to create that light on the very top of the house, right? Right. Okay. Alright. We're getting there. We're getting there. Now, this is tricky because you got to do the angles. So make like little ellipses on top. And you kind of just, to create all the different framing for the windows and stuff, you can just cut down at various intervals like this. Cut down. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Okay. There. We're still at a point where we're okay because we got some lights we can work with. All right, let's go ahead over here. And we'll just give this a little bit of encouragement on the side. There. In fact, we can scrape out some of the stuff that is over in this way, these windows. And that way, it won't look so foolish once we're done with it. Okay. Or hopefully it won't look so foolish. There. Okay, let's go over here to the other side. And what? Yep. Give it a little bit more of an edge on that side. A trick to this lighthouse is that, well, it's a little bit backlit, you know, so it can present some challenges to you. And it can make the painting a little harder to execute, but if, you know, you keep your wits about you, and you just paint in the basic architecture of this thing, then it can really take you places. Like right here, here's the door for this. Maybe it's going down this way a little bit. Okay, let's take some of this dark color again, go through here. There. That's looking okay. Go down. Color across here, and we'll recreate some and we'll just add some stuff over here. There. Better. Let's take some of this white and a little bit of this bluish gray color and get some of that up in the windows here. Okay? Yeah, I think that's about good. Alright, check out this color here. There's that color. And then we'll get another one right here. Come on. That color didn't work out the way I hoped. There. That's a little better. Then we'll get some of that color way up here. Now for that color up here, we'll throw it in the windows. Over for the color in the windows, we're gonna add a little bit of green to that blue color, just like that, and then kind of cake that on up there. There. That's pretty decent. And we'll kind of just go real light on this. Get some of this color and throw it in back here. There. And just get a little touch of that blue color in there on this side. And now I'll touch it in there. Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, we can go ahead with that lighter color. Just kind of throw it in. Yeah. There it goes. There it goes. Okay. Just good. Just good. Now, what do I want to do with some of these colors? Oh, I guess I could scrape this off like that. And wipe it off with my palette knife. And then we could take some of the color that we whipped up. Might want to take some of it on the smaller side of the knife, and then kind of just take it across here, because you know, it's a little easier with the smaller side sometimes than it is with the heavier side or the big side of your knife. Now for the rest of this, well, let's go ahead and throw this one down in here. There we go. We can accent that a little bit more with some some dark colors. Right here. Alright, let's take some of this middle brown color right here and just kind of get it onto the side of this right here, because we got some stuff that we have to paint so that we have this little ridge that's on top of the lighthouse. So keep it simple and not get too complicated with it. We'll just get this on there and put that on the side, and we'll get that side over there. There it is. And find where it is. There. Okay. Now let's scrape that off, and we'll get another piece of paper towel to clean off the palette knife. All right. What we can do with that now is take our light color, and I'm gonna just use our little edge, get some paint on that, and then I'll put the paint right there on the edge of that accent. Okay. There. Okay. Alright, so now's the time where I think we should get out the liner brush, because the liner brush is going to help us get some of these fine details. And sometimes when you use the palette knife, it's hard to get all those fine details like exactly the way we want. Yeah, I try, but sometimes it just doesn't work out. And that's already looking a little bit better. There. Not too many sounds on this one because, usually you're accustomed to the sound of the knife or the sound of brushes, but the palette knife, or not the palette knife, but the liner brush is very silent. Very silent. It's an odd one like that. Yeah, it is. Okay. Here we go. Just like this. Just like this. There. There it goes. Okay. There we go. There. Let's wash it off. Give a little bit more of a beat off there. We don't have to clean off too much because we're going to go right back in and find that dark color. Yeah. And then we're going to go back in with that dark color. And we're going to do some stuff. Oh yeah. Just like that. Create a few more of those fine details. Right over the edge right there. There it goes. Okay. Here it goes. There. There it goes. Perfect. There. Okay. Ooh, look at the way that covers that up. There. And like that too. Perfect. Okay. Let's go over here now. Using just a touch of phthalo green. We'll get that in there. Touch of phthalo green, touch of alizarin. Whip ourselves up something that's a little bit on the dark side of that green. Ooh. You know, with just the little green and alizarin crimson, you can do some crazy things. You can create this kind of bluish looking green that's got this fantastic looking hue to it. It's very, you know, you can just use it without any white at all, and it creates just this perfect black. Yeah, you can do some crazy stuff with just alizarin and phthalo green. What a color. What a color. I'm gonna go down here and, you know, outline this door into the building. There. Because people gotta have a place to go in and, you know, buy a ticket to see the lighthouse and all that. Okay. So now we got that. We can go up here and just do a couple more things up here to really get the idea of what the lighthouse is supposed to be shaped like here. Okay. Just like that. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's perfect. Okay. Alright. Just like up here. Yeah. Got that little thing topping off right there. I forget the name of it right now. That peak. I like that peak. Here, I wonder if I can get a little darker on the side. There. Yeah, that's the way. I like that color. Yeah, that's fun. That's fun. Okay, let's just mix some things up here. When in doubt, like I say, get out your liner brush, because your liner brush is just so fluid. You can do just about anything. You think that your little brushes can move mountains, but liner brush has got a few things to say, no doubt. There, getting that blue up in there. Now we're gonna get some alizarin crimson colors in there in a second. Let's get some alizarin crimson there. Now we've got a bunch of medium, that odorless paint thinner, on our liner brush. And now, waving around, we can get it right up in here. Ooh, look at that. Look at that. How easy that alizarin crimson goes on when we have all that odorless turpentine in the mix. There. There. Perfect. Now, is there anything else that we could possibly do with this lighthouse here? Yeah, we could probably do, you know what I could do is I could add a little bit of a hint of color to some of these things. Like maybe there's more of a green color than we realized in some of these areas right here. Maybe we can go in here and do things this way. Yeah. You know, that creates some fascinating variation. Like maybe right here we got something, and maybe right there we got something too. And maybe we got a little bit more right over there. Maybe we got a little bit here too. I don't know. You can go wild doing this. You can drive yourself crazy painting stuff like this all day long. Oop. I want to get there. There's that green. Okay. There. Here. Wait. I didn't get all the color off my brush there. Oh man. That's a dirty brush. Here. Now we can get it. There. Now we can get it. I guess that was a good point that I should probably get this little steeple right here in this house, or this part of it. Some of this is going to be covered up pretty soon, so we don't have to worry too much about it. But it's nice to get all the remainders. We're almost done with this little part here. It's stressful painting buildings like that because, you know, they're time consuming. It takes forever to do it. Hold on, let me clean off my knife. I didn't realize my knife was still dirty. Oops. Ooh, I knocked the brush down. Oh no. Okay. That's good. Let's go ahead and set that aside. Close up our turpentine. You don't want any of that. That's not going to do you any favors. Now let's cut across right here, and actually we can go ahead and, well, we're going to need the smaller side of the knife today for some of this stuff. Okay, so right here is going to be that guardrail, right? Yeah, we're going to see a lot of this guardrail. That's what this is right here. This is a little platform for all the people to go and see the lighthouse. So we're going to have another guardrail like right there, another guardrail like right here, and we're just going to make the guardrail go across. Right here, here, come on, come on, come on. There we go. Right here. You know, I probably should have just done this with the liner brush too. Anyway, yeah, get it right there. Ooh, 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 ooh. We almost got it. We almost got it. There. We'll just do another one right there, because maybe it's going around the back. That's good. That's about good for that one, I think. Okay. So what are we going to do with the rest of this, I wonder? Well, what are we going to do, I wonder? Well, I know what we're going to do with the palette knife. We're going to clean it off like we always do. Like we always do. Okay. That's good. Boy. And now we can go ahead with some more craziness on the sides here. Because we got to do a whole bunch of stuff, don't we? Oh, yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. Tell you what. Alright, let's take this dark green that we have right here. And let's make more of an olive color. Let's get that ultramarine blue that I like to use so much. Alizarin crimson. And don't get too much alizarin crimson. Well, you can get a lot of paint right now, it doesn't matter. I want a bunch of phthalo green in this. So I want to shift it hard into the green area and get those dark greens. Ooh, ooh, ooh. And of course we've got a little bit of yellow in there. That just happened by accident. Didn't mean to get those yellows, but you know, sometimes painting just happens. Sometimes it just happens. Here, get a little bit of blue again. Can't have too much blue when you're doing something like this, especially when you're about to mix a bunch of greens. There. And I'd say that's about mixed well enough, wouldn't you? Yeah. Yeah, let's get the 2-inch brush now. And I'm going to tap the paint into bristles. Tap the paint in. And now we're going to cover, pretty much the rest of this all the way over to probably about here. All the way to about here. Hold on, I just had a moment of inspiration here. Let me get my smaller palette knife and let me take my paint that I have over here. Let's go ahead and yeah, maybe it's got a little bit of a side on it, doesn't it? Yeah. Maybe it's got a little bit of a side. There. That's better. Yeah, maybe it's got a little bit of a attachment on it. I don't know. Maybe it's got some stuff going on. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it's got some stuff going down over here. Like maybe this is part of the building. There. Maybe it's got that going on, and maybe we can get, I don't know, a little bit more of our liner brush in there. Let's go ahead and dip that in the orange turpentine again and get some of this and go over this way. There. And maybe we got that happening. Maybe this is happening right over here. Got all kinds of stuff just happening. Just happening. There. Maybe that's good enough. Because a lot of this is going to be covered by trees anyway. And maybe we got another one right there. So maybe there's a door right there or something. I don't know. Get some of that color right there. There. Just to indicate, I don't know, maybe there's a door there. Who knows? Okay. I think that's pretty good for a moment of inspiration. A little add-on onto the house. They just got a new permit, so they gotta put it to good use. Because what's the use in paying all that money for the permit if I can't make my addition? And with that, and with a few strokes, we just improve the value of that lighthouse. Tap the paint into the bristles now. And let's go ahead over here. And you know what we're going to do? We're going to do the same thing we've been doing. We're going to give that tap. Make sure the bristles bend up. You know, since we're just making stuff here, making stuff happen, don't have to pay attention too much to what's going to happen next. Now there is going to be a railing that's going to crop up here, but you know what? We're going to go ahead and paint anyway. Because this is going to cover up a lot of stuff. I don't know if you knew that. I don't know if you knew that, but that's what it's going to do. And it's going to cover up a lot of our mistakes. We're going to come over this way, get some more paint on that brush. Ooh. Make sure the bristles bend up. Because when the bristles bend down, it tends to make things look all blended and everything. It doesn't look all that great. But when the bristles bend up like this, it makes the dark paint look a lot better. Okay, so let's go ahead with a little bit more blue in there, a little bit more green, and a little bit more alizarin crimson. And get some more of that in there. Yeah, that's the way. Because we don't want it to be too light, do we? No. We don't want that paint to be too white. Here. Let's go over here now. Now remember I said that this is going to cover up some stuff? Here, get some more paint in there. Get a lot of paint in those bristles. Pull out more of their alizarin crimson. And we're going to get a dark color that's going to make this next color scream. A lot of blue in there though. Don't get too much alizarin crimson. You just want that dark color. Leave enough phthalo green on there so that you can get yourself a little bit of that color later, so you can make some really, really bright greens. You don't want to ruin everything, do you? No. Here, when you run out of paint, that's better. There. Now we got that dark color to work with. Good. And we've gotten a little wild here. We got maybe gone a little bit too far, but that's okay. That's okay. All right, let's get off the brush now. Let's scrape off that, beat it off. Okay, and then give the old wipe down. Now this old brush is ready for action. Look at that. Ooh, we might have gotten a little bit of paint still in there. I'm kind of surprised. I thought we got it all. That's better. That's better. Hey, what do you say we clean off these knives? Because these knives are a little dirty. Let me set down my palette knife for a second so I can wipe them off properly. Ooh, these knives have seen a lot of action. You know, this is the point in the painting where it looks like this is just a big mess that I've created. Like I've created all this stuff, and none of it looks like it's going to fit right. Yeah, and usually I would say to you, boy, you got a good point. But no. We got a method to the madness. Method to the madness. I know that I create some paintings sometimes that are questionable. Not every painting is a winner. A lot of paintings turn out better than others. And I think that's one of the things that I show off on here a lot, is that sometimes, even with the best intention, and even when you do a lot of things right, sometimes you screw it up, and sometimes you get it right. And that is the nature of art. You can do it. I have faith in you. You just got to have faith in yourself. And remember that not every painting is going to be perfect. That's something they don't tell you a lot on all the fancy shows and everything. Not every piece of art is going to be worthwhile. So get yourself ready for that. Alright, let's pull our 1-inch brush through the cad yellow. Get a lot of paint on those bristles. Ooh, that's so much paint. In fact, I got a hair on my brush right there, so that's a treasure as always. Let's pull that out, because we don't want to be painting with my hairs. We want to be painting with the hairs on the brush. Whew, got some cadmium in my fingers. That's nice. Alright, go into your green and get a little bit of that, phthalo on one end. Now for the first round of greens, we want a little bit more phthalo than we would otherwise, and then we're going to get a little bit of blue too. Just get a little bit of blue on that. Okay. I want just a kind of a bright middle-ish green, and then we want to get a little bit of white in there too. Why not? I don't know why I'm tapping. I should be pulling like this. That's better. That's better. Okay. Now we've got about the right color that we want. So let's go in, and with all that paint in that brush, and I've got a lot of paint in the bristles right there, be sure you got that lovely little swoop on back on it, so that you know where, so you know that where, that brush, that little swoop tells you which way you got to press. Just like that. Now, start. And if you have to go back in, you can. There's no law that says you can't go back in and get more of the green if you need it. But push up on this. Push up on it. And you should probably go down as you do it. You probably don't want to do like I do and, you know, go every which way with it. You want to have a kind of a method where you take it wherever you need to. There. And when I say wherever you need to, I mean, well, you take it where you're supposed to. Okay, we pull it right there. Good. And we'll just... Now we're going to go in with another green pretty shortly here. And we're going to take this same green that we were just working with, that kind of middle of the road green, and we're going to do our best here. There. And then pull it through again. You need more color. There. There. Now pull it again. There. And we'll do just one more at the top, I think. There. That's a pretty good color right there. Now for the second round, we're not going to clean the brush off, but we are going to get that phthalo green, and we're going to get that yellow. And then we're going to get the brightest green that we possibly can by getting that phthalo green and that cad yellow, mixing them together, add a little bit of white, there. Ooh, let me get that hair off. Come on. Sometimes you gotta take the hair off the paint. If you got long hair, sometimes, you know, that'll do it. And just pull it through the paint again and get all the paint on those bristles. And now, look at that. The brightest green in the whole painting right there. That's the way we do it. And you know, take that green and go maybe where you've already gone and get more greens in there. But don't destroy your darks. Okay. There. Go all the way over here. There. If you need to, go through the yellow again. Get more paint on there. Okay. Look at that. Sometimes you just want to go in there and get some pure yellows, which, you know, if you want to do that, go right ahead, because it'll help you really punch up the painting a little bit. Nothing wrong with getting some pure yellows in there. There. Isn't that interesting? I'll say. Very cool. Very cool. All right. Let's go in, grab some of that color that we used on the other side, and use it over here too. Don't destroy all the darks. Don't destroy it all. Okay? Be a little bit more judicious about where you're putting stuff here. There. Look at that. Isn't that cool? Yeah. Very good. Very good. That's looking all right. That's looking all right. All right. That's about good for that section, I think. Let's clean off our brush now. Let me hold on to this. A lot of paint on these bristles, so it's going to take a while to clean it off. Painting looks a little bit like the house is getting surrounded by the foliage, isn't it? Yeah, maybe a little bit. Maybe a little bit. Yeah, we got some interesting stuff happening here today. Yeah, this is a neat little painting. Okay, here, let's give it the proper wipe off. There. A lot of paint on those bristles. Sometimes it's hard to get the paint off your brushes, and, well, when those times happen, you just do the best you can. Alright. Okay. Let's go ahead and take the small palette knife for this one, because, well, should we use the small one? Should we use the big one? Probably the big one. Alright. So let's go ahead and take the big one. And what we want to do is we want to get a color that has a lot of lavender to it. Alright? So let's go in here, get some of that ultramarine, that alizarin crimson. And you want to just take a smidge of that white just to see what you got. That alizarin crimson there is looking pretty good on that. We want a little bit more alizarin crimson to the ultramarine on this one. Okay, so we're going to cut across all that and just bring it right down. And that's still a pretty dark color, even though we added some white to it. And we're adding white to it right now, aren't we? Yeah, we are. Just get it as straight as you can. Let me see where I am here. Let me see where I want this staircase to begin. We're kind of looking up at the house, so we'll just set it right there and we'll make it go like that way and that way. There. Yeah, that's okay. So we'll just drag that dark color, that dark violet color, all across. And make sure you got everything all covered up there. There. Okay. So let's go ahead now. Get maybe a little bit of that alizarin crimson and add a little white to that. Make sure that it's light enough that it becomes a highlight. Let's see what it looks like against that. Ooh, that's looking pretty cool. I don't know if it's necessarily what we want or not. But let's go ahead, take a look at it, maybe get a little bit of that yellow in there with it. Here, let's take a look at it now. Ooh, that's looking pretty good. Get a little bit more alizarin crimson in there. And as I say a lot of times, you want to make sure that when you paint colors, they like to play tricks on you. The colors are practical jokers. So you gotta keep a short rein on them, a short leash. And you want to make that color lighter than you think it should be. So I'm going to add a little bit of white to that to make it lighter than I think it should be, even though I think it looks alright right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut across. Got a lot of paint on the knife right now. And right up here, I'm going to start setting in those highlights. And I think that they look pretty decent. But it's a good thing I decided to use a little bit more white than I thought it needed, because otherwise that would have been a little bit hairier. Okay, so now we just go down, like maybe as the steps get closer, you know, the divide between them gets a little bigger, just like this. Yeah, maybe these are rickety old steps and all that, and you know, they've seen a lot of weathering over the years, and you know, all that business. And maybe in between them, maybe we need a little bit of a color that's got some shadow to it. So let's get a little bit of that alizarin crimson and some of that ultramarine blue. And that way we'll be able to create something that has a little bit of a vibe to it here. That should work. We'll just throw that in between, because you know, oh, you know how it is. Steps, they need a little bit of something to make them look more interesting. And that dark color we laid down can help the stairs stand out a little bit more. There. Okay, so that's pretty decent. We can use that there, and what we can do is we can use the foliage to cover up a few things if we really want. But what we really want to do now, I think, is create a kind of earth color. And I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to take a little bit of that. Ooh, we're going to take a little bit of the cad yellow here, go into this color here, and we're going to create like a kind of burnt sienna type color. Yeah, using some of these leftover bits from the phthalo green. Alright, that's how we're going to do it. Take a little bit of the alizarin in there. Make sure we got some blue too, because we want to get a little bit of that color in there. Alright. Now, this is going to be kind of our shadow color, FYI. So let's take a look at what that looks like. Ooh, yeah, that's going to work. Anything darker than that is going to be hard to work with. So let's go ahead now and cut across. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll go up the stairs here, dropping in this color. Okay. And I'm going to cut right up here. Cut into there. Alright. And then the other color is going to go right about there. Alright. Okay. Gonna have some of this right there. Alright. There. Now, what's going to happen next is we're going to take this color downstairs. Just like that. Okay. Whew. All right. And we're going to go just like that over this way. All right. Connect that. some shapes like this to indicate, hey, there's a rail here. Check it out, guys. And you know, maybe some greens are going to get in there after all that. Which, if they do, fine, whatever. We'll go ahead and just block this in, because why not? Yeah, we'll block it in. This is what we call the home stretch, I guess, in painting, where it feels like, oh boy, we're getting close to the end. All we've got left now are a few little things to do here and there, but nothing too major. Okay, we can go right this way, right there. Okay. And right. All right. And we can pull into this paint so that we can cover up some of the foolishness we've done over here on this side. There. That's the way. Okay. All right. Good, good, good. Let's throw it over there. And block in that other bit. Come on. This is the problem with painting on a canvas that we've already done here. Because sometimes the paint is gonna go off in all kinds of directions. So you gotta be ready for that challenge when you paint over a canvas. Here. That's good. You know, looking at it from that angle, it's okay. Because everything isn't perfectly spot on. You know how it is. Okay, for this little thing we're gonna make this go a little wider too. Maybe it comes out this way. Just like this. Okay. And then over here, it's going to be a little wider that way. All right. So now, what we can do for this is add some white. And, you know, I just added some white there, and I think that might be good enough. Do you think it might be good enough, or should I add a little bit more than I think I need? Well, you know me. I'm going to add a little bit more than I think I need, because if I don't, I know what it's going to be like, and I'm going to regret it. Okay, I've got a good color right there. Let's go ahead and cut across on that. Now let's go ahead and decide where we want to. Well, we're going to. Now this is wood, guys, so these railings are made of wood, so don't be afraid to, you know, really let the breaking of the paint accentuate that. Like over here, too, get that. Oh yeah, that's exquisite. That's the stuff right there. You know where else it might be a little bit? Okay, right there. Oops. Oops, right there. Right there. And let's get a little bit of the railing over here, too. Ooh, I didn't get enough of a roll of paint. Okay. See, we're doing it. We're doing it. There. Look at that. Oh, that's nice. It's the best thing ever. You know, we got a lot of lighthouses like this all over the area. They're up in Canada too. Canada has a lot of them. And I've seen a lot of the lighthouses in Canada and Michigan and nearby. Pretty much anywhere along the Great Lakes you're going to find some lighthouses and stuff. Because, you know, it's kind of what we do here. Let me get the edges of this. Because you know how it is. A little bit of light's going to be hitting that area. Why not? Okay. Right here too. Just a nudge. You don't have to get it a lot. Come on. There. Well, I don't know if I like that. I keep trying to cut my knife. There it is. And the roll of paint just doesn't want to give me my due. There. That's better. It's okay to make this all misshapen and everything, because, you know, it's a railing. And you know how it is with a railing. Maybe there's another little thing right over here where we gotta get just a little bit of a get that railing in there, and maybe we gotta get that railing over here too. Right there, yep. And if that happens, you know how it is. Just cut through the paint, get a highlight on it, and just slap it on right there. There. And right there. Okay. It's all good. So let's go ahead and wipe off our brush now, because we got all the stuff that we need, I think, right there. What we can do now, or maybe a little bit of touch-ups. Make sure we got the knife all cleaned off. This knife is getting pretty dirty. It's been going through the ringer today, you know that? Yeah, sometimes your knife sees a lot of action. And that knife, this knife, feels like it's doing more work than it's getting paid for. That poor knife has got a raw deal, doesn't it? Okay, let's take a look at some of this stuff right here. Let's get our, where's my liner brush? There it is. I was wondering where it was for a second. Okay, let's take out that liner brush and get some of that odorless turpentine. Go through our brown color that we mixed up and kind of get it right over here. Yeah. Okay. Right there. Yeah. I can smooth some of this stuff out maybe a little bit. Yeah. That's alright. Get some of that in there. Make sure that all those lines are in. Okay. That's good. Doesn't hurt to clean things up a little bit. And while you're in there, you can, you know, put an accent of some stuff, like right there. And right here. And maybe you want to take a little bit of blue. Here, let me get a little bit more odorless turpentine for that. Maybe you want to take a little bit of blue and drop it in your shadows, because that can make things even more interesting, huh? Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Oh, wow. Look at that go. You don't want to obliterate everything, but it will make it a little bit more interesting, I think. There. All the way down. Okay. so great to see so many different colors in one place. Oh, I love it. Okay. Well, let's take a little bit of alizarin crimson on this, and on that we can maybe patch up a few things over this way. See how good that looks. Yeah. Maybe want to cover up a couple of things over here. That's cool. That's the way right there. In fact, maybe I've got some alizarin on this side that it would look better with. Okay. Get a little bit of white in there. Yeah, just get a little bit of white on that. And there. That looks fascinating. Okay, let's get some of that blue in. Some of that blue. Maybe we've got a little bit of alizarin with that blue that needs to get in. Yeah. I don't know. I like painting so much. It's the only thing that really can make me feel completely happy. You have something in your life like that, something that is really the only thing that truly makes you happy. There are a few things that really do that for me, but painting is one of them, where I look at the painting and I feel the aura of the paint, and I try to work with it, and all that challenge is, well, what I really live for. Yeah. I don't know. I think about that a lot. Why I do a lot of things. Why we do a lot of things. Here. This will help us have a better sense of the staircase. Let's take some white and go into this color here and do a couple of touch-ups. Take some white into that. I know that I'm getting a lot of white on my liner brush here, but I really want to accentuate this. So we can take that minty green color and go around the edge here. In fact, we can just take some white, maybe. Well, no, I'm not going to take some white. I'm going to take the white with the green color, the tint. That's what it's called when you add a white to a color like this. It's called a tint. And I want to be sure to really accentuate that frame that's supposed to be there. Because you know there's a frame in the window, right? Yeah. Well, that's true. It's there. There. Okay. Now I have to decide if there's anything else I want to do today. Well, I could take a little bit of the yellow here, add it down here. Okay, because maybe we got something wild happening down there. The vines and stuff are spilling over the edge, and you got that. Okay, So you got that happening. Maybe you got a little bit more happening over here. Yeah. Maybe the foliage is going a little nuts. Maybe someone isn't doing their job. Maybe someone's not, upkeeping the place. Maybe you got some of this happening, some of that. Don't make it look too uniform though. Make it look like someone's just kind of, yeah. A little bit over here too. Yeah, someone's getting lazy. Someone's being a lazy bones. Someone might get canned later. Okay. And right over here. Maybe just suggest some things. Now I'll tell you what I'll do with my cadmium scarlet, my alizarin right here. I'm going to mix those together to create a vibrant ruby red color. And then I'm going to get that with some odorless turpentine on my liner brush. And I'm just going to really suggest some things. Kind of just drop them in over here, because maybe there's some flowers and stuff growing, Maybe that's happening. Maybe there's all kinds of little things happening right now. Who knows? Who knows? You know how the flowers go, they just kind of roll with it. I'm getting enough odorless turpentine on it that it's kind of like working with a little bit of ink or just watercolor or something. Getting a little bit of it on there, and, well, more than a little bit really. Yeah, you got all this stuff happening, and you can just close your eyes and put stuff every which way, and that'll help you randomize it and keep you from getting too organized. Did you know you could do that? That's a fun little way of doing things. I'm going to close my eyes here and just, put it wherever. Yeah. Oh, that's so much fun there. Yeah, you don't want to overdo it though. Maybe put a couple over in here and all that. Now I'll tell you what I can do. I'm going to clean off that brush. Okay. Give it a little hummingbird beat off. And then wipe it down. And that's done. Are all my brushes clean right now? Oh yeah, it looks like they are. Well, that's a first, huh? Now I'm going to take my 1-inch brush now, and I'm going to just pull it through that yellow color. That yellow color has seen a lot of action, and it's pretty much almost done. Now, let's go ahead and just, with the colors you have, I'm going to I'm just going to go in and redefine this area here. Because maybe you got something that needs to be redefined. Okay? Yeah, that's pretty good right there. That's pretty good. We don't need to do anything else, I don't think. Okay. You know what we can do? We can even go in right here and just, tap in a couple of darks and stuff. If you want to, maybe you want to do that, maybe you want to do that. Who knows? We can get a little bit more over here too. There. There. That's good. That's good. Okay. I think that we've done about enough for today. So let's go ahead and clean off this brush once more. Give it the wipe down. Cool. There. And I got one last thing to do now. It's the final part of the painting. Now that we know the painting's done, take the brush, get some odorless thinner on it, go into that red paint. I'm just going to initial my name right here, and we're done. That's a finished painting. Now let's clean this off. Make sure that we got all the paint off with that liner brush, because you don't want to leave any paint on your brushes. Guys, you leave paint on your brushes and ooh, it's not going to be good, because you're not going to be able to use them anymore. You might be able to get them to work again, but not very easily. Nope, not at all. Okay, I think that all those the brushes are cleaned off. It looks like they are. Good. Let's close this up then. Well, I think our time is about up for today, and it's time for me to go. I really hope you enjoyed this one, and I hope you had a lot of fun with it. I had a lot of fun with it because I really challenged myself, and I want to encourage you to challenge yourself too. It's always good to break out of your comfort zone and try things that you haven't done before, because that's how you become better. If you never try to do anything new, you'll never become a better artist. So be sure that you try to find things that when you look at them you go, ooh, I don't know if I can do that, and then try them anyway. That's the secret to becoming better. Well, I'll be back with you again soon, next time. I know that it's hard waiting, but what can I say? Even I need a break. Anyway, thanks again for watching. Until then, with love from me to you, I'll be back soon. Bye-bye.